Hello and welcome. I'm Angela of Stamping Beauty in Christchurch, New Zealand. Today I'm sharing with you how to create this card. It's for this month's Stampin' Fancy Friday challenge, which was to create a celebration card, and I wanted to create a birthday card. I've used this sentiment here from the Beach Day stamp set, and I'm using dies from the Country Flowers dies. All the products that I'm using today will be listed in the description box below and can be purchased via my online store. And if you live in New Zealand and would like a copy of the latest Stampin' Up catalogue, please contact me. I'd love to send you one. So to get started, I've got a basic white card base and then another basic white cardstock layer. And to get that nice curve on the wreath, the half wreath, I've used one of these IKEA containers. I think a lot of people have these, so but anything that sort of gives you a good circle, and then I'm just going to hold that in place and just pop my pencil line around there so to get that nice half circle. And then that gives me something easy to work on to add my wreath. So you don't have to watch paint dry, I've gone ahead and done some of this already. So when I created this card originally, I coloured quite, some reasonable sized pieces of, this is Fluid 100 paper. And the dies for the flowers, there are these 3 dies. So you get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flowers. So what I did is on each piece die cut 7. So I only used 3 for that one. So I've got 4 left. So it's quite handy when you do some extras, because then when you want to make another card, it's a little bit quicker. So the colours I've used are Poppy Parade, Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, Azure Afternoon, Gorgeous Grape, and Fresh Freesia. So I've got those all here ready to go. So I'll set that aside. And then for the leaf, which is what's going to be going down first, there are all these leaf dies in the set too. So I'll just cut one lot of those. So what I tend to do when I'm die cutting something like this, I won't necessarily use them all, but it's handy to have some extras. And sometimes so while I'm cutting this big one, I may as well cut 2 of these small ones at the same time, and then I just pop them back in the packet for use at a later date if I don't use them all. Just run that through. And just get those off there. So with this, I wanted at least 5 of these biggish flower clusters. So I'll get those out of the way. And then we'll start with this wreath. And I don't want them, see, you can see there's some movement on here. They're not sort of stuck down totally. So I'll just stick as I go and just pop them in. It's sort of random. Sometimes it changes as you put things down. You just sort of work with it. You can cut some of the leaves off if they're sticking out in places you don't want them. This is a silica mat. This works really well for dipping. You just dip a little bit of glue on there. So I'm just going to tuck that out there. And I'm not worried about the pencil because that will get covered up. So I'm just going to work around with these leaves, and then I can tuck in the small ones later on if I've got some gaps. It's white on white, so it's fairly forgiving. And I want to spread it around too, so I might just start at the bottom so I don't end up with some big gaps or not enough. I've still got 2 of these, so hopefully plenty of it's got a nice bit of a curve on it as well, which helps. And sometimes you don't know if you need some extras pop down until you've got your flowers on as well. So that's pretty simple and giving you that nice curve. So what I might do now is pop the flowers on, and then I can go back and tuck these little leaves in later. So what I'm going to do to see they're nicely curved up is bring in my foam mat, just pop these on here, and then all you do is use one of this is off the take your pick, you can swap it over. I just find it just as easy to use it like this, so they're all ready to go. So I'll just do that with all these. I've got some extras, so I'll just do them all so that I can, then they're ready to go if I want to use them. Sometimes you just fiddle around to get the right look. I find the big end is less likely to sort of puncture your flowers as well, because you want to be a little bit careful, because there is that cutting that, you know, it's got cuts in there, so you don't want to break that. So you can adhere these with glue dots or just with glue, dipping them in the glue. I find just as easy, just with a pair of little tweezers. And again, pop some more. And this just, when it's dry, it just rolls off. You know, what's left over just cleans off easily. So just dunk that in the glue and then pop it on here. And then what I've done is I've sort of tucked them in. It's always handy when you've got one that you've done to work with. But if you haven't, that sometimes, like I did before, start from the bottom as well and work up so that you can make sure that they're nicely spread out. You could pop them on just to have a wee trial run. I always find I never quite remember how I had them when I do that. So if I am going to be quite particular about that, I'll often take a photograph and set it out, take a photograph, and then I've got that to work with. take some from the bottom as well, again, just to make sure I do meet nicely in the middle. So you don't want it, you want it to look evenly spread out, not less gap here and more gap there. Actually, I used that one slightly darker. Probably should have done those a little bit darker. Tuck that one in here, and then I've got my blues, my 2 greens. So I think it's going to work out all right. If you work quickly and the glue's not totally dry, it does give you a little bit of time to pull them off. Just tuck that one. They're going to be a little bit under the sentiment anyway, so that gives a little bit of room for error. So move those out of the way, bring this back in, put some more glue on here. I've got my little pile of leaves here, so I'll just want to fill out some of the gaps. Just tuck those in. There are single ones and double ones, so a bit of choice. And as I say, because it's white on white, it does give you a little bit of room for error or artistic license. So I think that's all right. That will do for today. I'll move that out of the way before I end up with glue on it. Now what I want to do is I've popped some gold on, but I want to, because I want to get it on here and show you to finish it off. So what I'm going to do is adhere it now and then add the sprinkle of gold. I normally would do that and then leave it to dry, but so that I can do it all in one hit. Put my dimensionals on the back. And get that nice and even on here, hopefully. And before I do the gold splatter, I'm going to use the metallic enamel effects. You can use this to splatter, but it's not quite as a gold when you do it. So I'm just going to use that just to add some little gold dots to the center of some of these flowers. You could add it to all of them. I just wanted to make it a little bit random. And then I added some gold, bigger splodges as well. Otherwise you could use any of the gold embellishments that we have. So I think that's okay. And then to add the gold splatter, not get it on my card base, I'm just going to put this around here, some scrap paper. And I've got this gold Winsor & Newton ink. Just give it a good shake up. This may be getting a little bit old. That's why it seems to separate quite a lot. And then I've got an old aqua painter that I use specifically for this, and then just dip it in there and then just tap it on. So just as little or as much as you like. Love gold splatter, so that's probably enough. Set that aside, and so while that's drying, I'll take these bits away. While that's drying, I'm going to get the sentiment ready, and as I showed you before, it's this lovely happy birthday from the Beach Day stamp set. And I'm going to emboss that in gold. So I've got it's got the dust all over it from the embossing buddy. Let's emboss that. And this needs the foam mat under it, just gives it, because it's a photopolymer stamp. And some gold embossing powder. And it doesn't have to be too perfect because it's going to be fussy cut. So I'll just heat this, won't be a moment. That never gets old, does it, watching that develop? It's a far cry from the days of when I did my wedding invitations over the toaster. So now I'm just going to fussy cut this. If you're not a fussy cutter, just find a die that will work for this. I like when you can get a sense of the project behind the words and not cover it up too much either. Don't have to be too particular. It's going to be on the white as well, so there's plenty of room for blurred edges. And also giving that little bit of edge around the words just gives you a little bit of more room for error too. So then we want to bring this back in, and then I want to pop that on there. Actually, I did go on this one up here a little bit more, but definitely don't have to. those. Now what I want to do is, that's going to sit about there, so that about there, and half of that is going to have dimensionals on it. So I've just got the mini dimensionals, and because there's a bit of height on there, what I'm going to do is double them up. Actually, I'm just going to put a half one on here because there's not a lot of room. So I put one down, take the backs off, and then put another one on top. Take the back off that. Take the back off that. So you can see, hopefully there are 2 layers. So it just gives you a little bit of height, just 2. So we'll just pass over that, and then make sure it's nice and straight. And I think about there, and then just place it down. If you ever find that you've popped your say sentiment down like this, and it's not straight, what I do is I just go in with my scissors and slice it through, and then just get it back in place just with a bit of glue. Put a bit of glue in there, it gives you a bit of wiggle room to get it straight. So you don't have to worry if it's not quite straight. There's a way of fixing it. So that is my card for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.